What's shaking, guys? It's Feldy bringing you another MTG Obsession video, and today we've got yet another community quip. We've got Nate in the house. Nate, how are you, my friend?
Still breathing.
Well, what you guys didn't see was a half hour of us trying to figure out audio and video technical glitches, so thanks so much for your patience through that. So definitely appreciate you hopping on here.
Yeah, technology sucks sometimes.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I'm in my basement in my cavern. I actually do have a little print that I actually hung a long time ago. That's neither here nor there. Try to get some Magic stuff. Got all my buys, and you can see a Return to Ravnica box here and whatever. Anyway, not about me. It's about you today. Let's dive right into things. So Nate, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? How long have you been playing Magic? All that good stuff.
Well, I grew up in Pittsburgh, and I live in Tarpon Springs, Florida right now. I've been playing Magic. I don't think really taken any breaks for about 26 years now.
Dang, that is hardcore, man.
Yeah, mostly the early beginnings, there wasn't really anywhere to play. It was all just kitchen table Magic. You buy some booster packs at a random store that might have some. And I didn't really find any actual game stores till I moved down to Florida in 2000. I didn't even know they existed.
That's awesome, though.
But yeah, I've found a lot more people to play with, and I've been playing ever since.
That's awesome. So you've been playing forever. Then, I mean, you're so young anyway. So, I mean, you must have been 3 years old when you started playing. But
not quite that young.
I mean, I've got grays everywhere, so it's a little obvious of how old I am. But when you picked up Magic, what initially drew you to the game? What was kind of your this game kicks ass, I want to play this?
Well, I learned how to play from one of the people at summer camp, and he showed me some of the cards, and I liked the art. I was always a big board game fan, and that kind of drew me to the mechanics of the game. And basically he taught me, and I came back to Pittsburgh, and I found a pack or two here or there at random stores, but not really people to play with for a couple of years. And then I found one person in middle school to play with, and we just kind of played on the kitchen table for
awesome.
4 or 5 years.
So were you in Scouts then?
No, it was just regular summer camp.
Summer camps. Okay.
So I was 7 years old.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. I was in Boy Scouts, and that's how I found Magic, was through the whole Boy Scouts, and the older guys had them, and then we just played on bus rides down to Florida for everything, and it was just so fun. But so do you have some of those memorable cards that you really cling on to?
Let's see here. Some of my favorites, I actually remember my first big competitive deck that I saw that I really liked, and cards that I really liked, was Brian Selden's Recurring Nightmare Survival of Fittest deck.
Okay.
That year, and I've always those two cards are some of my absolute favorites, and I just love the whole value engine building thing. You get that from board games too.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy. I mean, the mechanics of Magic have changed so much from their initial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and now you can really, I mean, in Arena, my system will freeze because there's just so much going on with the ramp ups and infinite loop type things that happen. It's nuts.
Yeah, I've had a lot of problems with the Arena client and actually doing infinite sometimes, and but otherwise it's actually infinitely better than Moto is.
True. So
I just wish they put the amount of time they did into Arena as they did into Moto.
Right? I mean, yeah, that is true. So do you play any Arena, or do you just play mainly the cardstock Magic?
I was pretty hard into Arena when it first came out during the beta, and I've kind of fallen off a good amount because I really just, after a while, I just don't like Standard very much. I do play Historic a lot. I do play the Historic Brawl, not that they've made it 100 card in Singleton. It's pretty much Commander. But yeah, just historics. I play it on my phone now,
Yeah.
like in between doing assignments at work sometimes.
That's awesome. I wish I could do that with the luxury that you have. But in terms of like what people don't know is like we talk back and forth obviously before we ever jump on here. So you had mentioned that you're a huge Commander fan and you
Yeah,
like
definitely.
multiplayer aspect. Obviously Arena doesn't really have that. So, if you were so clearly Commander's kind of like your niche of like what you like to play in, right?
Well, I used to be like the big hardcore standard modern grinder, going to like all the PTQs, driving all over the place. I did a couple big tournaments, but after quite a few years, it just doesn't feel worth it anymore. And I'd rather have the sit down and play 4 or 5 hours of fun with friends instead.
Yeah.
That's where Commander came in.
Yeah. I mean, that's honestly like that's how like I don't have a group around here that plays Commander or anything just because like I'm in such like a rural spot, but I'm
But we
sure
need to fix that.
I know. There is spell table now. So, I'm hoping to. I just got a deck. It's probably gonna be here by the time this is published from my buddy Matt who builds commander cards and or commander decks. So I'm looking forward to that. He is surprising me with just I told him a couple of the things I like, and so he's surprising me. So we'll see, and I might have to just play with you and your friends on spell
So
table.
I'm on the usually Sundays, but sometimes late at nights. So anytime you want to send me a message and I can jump on.
Perfect. All right. We'll totally be doing that at some point here. All right. So when you are crafting commander decks, then obviously there's so much to think about. Like, what do you think about when you play or when you're crafting a commander deck? Do you have certain styles you like? Do you like, life gains? Do you like the infinite loop type things? What do you kind of get into? What
I have 30 commander decks at the moment of all various different styles, but generally when I want to build a commander deck, I basically just see something that really interests me. Like if someone's playing a card that I really like, or I saw someone else build a deck, or I saw on a spoiler for the new set, I saw this card I really liked. So I'll start there. I'll find that card or find the type of thing I wanted to build, go to Gatherer, and literally look up every card in Magic that has that card type or that mechanic.
Yeah, yeah.
Then I will just sit there and grind through all of it. And then if I see a card I like, put it on a list. See a card I like, put it on a list. See a card I like, put it on the list. Eventually, you'll end up with about 300 or 400 cards, and you just stick all of that in a spreadsheet and narrow it down from there.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So like for me, it's really hard to explain magic to like people who aren't into it because you kind of just it's such an intellectual geek out thing, right? Like you can't just be like, yeah, I build decks. Like these decks have to be like handcrafted and mechanically made to be synergistic. Like one of my favorite cards of all time, I'm sure you might remember it, is Searing Meditation. It's like when you gain that a life, you do one
You can
damage.
pay one to shock someone. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I mean, that was just like that was my go-to for a long time there. I was like, I need to make a deck around this now. So I've got to recraft some things, and
Have a
obviously,
deck built something like that that triggers on life gain. The where is it? Oh yeah, Karlov of the Ghost Council. It's a
okay,
black white guy who gets bigger every time you gain a life.
yeah. Those are fun. And my son kind of geeks out, and my youngest, and he likes green decks. So he's like all into like the green creatures and that kind of thing. So like I've
Yeah,
got
I'm
to
the big green component. That's what I've always loved.
yeah.
90% of the time, it's like I'm a big elf player.
Yeah, like I grew up with elves and Force of Nature, and that was like my like oh my god, these just got me into Magic, full time. So, um, so so Magic altogether, like I know that we kind of I'm just looking down at my sheet. For those who don't know, like since I had to I had to reshift everything. I had to print out a spreadsheet. I'm just trying to make sure I've got all my questions covered here. So when you are crafting commander decks, do you even care about power level, or do you not even pay attention to it? I want to know your thoughts on power level.
So for for the longest time, I just kind of built the deck and whatever it was, it was. But with when COVID hit and everything started moving towards discard and playing on spell table, they actually had lanes of power levels. So I had to start actually thinking about what I wanted to build. So I build, I try to keep things balanced. Like if there's something I know is going to be powerful and there's really not much you can do about it, I just like put as much as you can into it. But a lot of times I play towards the more casual level. So if people are looking, like I build a lot of like 5, 6, 7 in that general range. I try to have something to play with everyone when I come to a table. So I have a lot of like just upgraded precons or all the way up to something powerful.
Yeah. Do you have one deck that just absolutely destroys people?
Well, I have a few more high power decks that are like meant to be played in leagues or a competitive setting. Not quite CDH because I'm really not a fan of that. Like if I
Yeah.
wanted to play something that cutthroat, I'd play Legacy. But so if I wanted to like play something more interaction, play stacks, something like that, I have those decks. Uh, like though I would say like most of my favorite decks are more in the mid range stuff.
Okay. Okay. So circling back to what you said earlier, you said that you play a lot of board games. So obviously, like I've got a family. We like to play game night. We're actually having an adult game night. We do it yearly. We do the cellophane ball as our like kind of staple. So like we have a prize buried and then little cellophane wrapper things that you have to peel off. Have you ever played that?
No, I have not played that.
No. Okay. It's a crazy fun game for a lot of people. So you basically roll dice and you're trying to roll doubles, and the person in front of you is trying to roll doubles so that they get the ball. And in the meantime, you just try to keep peeling off these little cellophane things, but it's cellophane on cellophane. And on the inside of this ball, there's, I'll have to find a picture. I'll post it up like right over here. Um, but you have prizes buried inside. So like we did like gift cards and stuff like that. And then like a couple of years ago, we had like the Amazon Echo Dot as like the main prize at the very bottom. But like inside there, you'd have um, and this was just kind of like for fun. This is total side tangent. You'd have like little like pass your prize to the person to the left. So it was just like wild. People would think that they would have a prize and then they'd have to like pass it, and then like so it got like really crazy and fun.
Sounds like a good party drinking game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like a board game, but it's definitely a fun game. But so, what kind of board games do you get into, and what's your favorite at the moment?
Well, I have a group that meets every Wednesday and Saturday. We've been meeting for the past about a decade now. We have close, probably in the room about 500 board games, if not a little bit more at the moment.
I
But
am gonna.
yeah, we.
You did send me those. I'm gonna show people just a little sneak of that.
But yeah, we play everything from like light party games to all the way up to super heavy Euro games. Uh, Probably like my top 5 at the current moment would be Star Wars Rebellion is a great one-on-one like super heavy strategy game. Everdel's another one that came out pretty recently that I just absolutely love. It's bouncing back and forth between my top 1 and top 2. But that's kind of like forest critter themed, but pretty heavy like tableau building strategy game. Then let's see here, what was some of the other ones we played recently? The new Terraforming Mars is very good. I've played quite a lot of that. Uh, Roll for the Galaxy is a lot of fun. Another dice, and not really dice drafting game, or like dice building game, or like dice cup building game. It's a
Okay.
classic. And towards the more super heavy games, like I really like Scythe and Anachrony and On Mars. Just more like super heavy, like expand, explore games.
Okay. Yeah. So I geek out with all that. Like like the one that we can play as a family that's probably like the most intense is like Catan.
Oh yeah, I've played thousands of games of Catan.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like we still love it.
It's a great intro game. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like but the thing is, like, we have a hard time staying focused. So that game is just on that teetering block. So like, if you could suggest a game for family and then suggest a game for like your friend group, what would be 2 games that you would suggest?
Well, I've actually got my parents to play Catan quite a lot, so it's like they like playing it. Lots of jokes about that game, like loving your sheep and everything. Yeah, but Catan's a great gateway game. It gets people in, hand management, resource management,
Yeah.
trading, stuff like that. All great stuff just to get people into board gaming.
Yep.
And then if you're looking for something a little more heavy towards the like 2 to 3 hour range, like sit down, grab a beer, and put your brain to work, definitely look into Scythe. It's a lot of my friends' favorite game. It's in my top 5. Uh, it can have games that are lots of fighting, zero fighting, but it's just absolutely great exemplar of like medium to heavyweight management games.
Awesome. Yeah, I will definitely have to check that out. I've heard so much about it. We just haven't had a chance to pick it up. So I'll definitely, on your recommendation, go get it, and then I will let you know how it actually
Yeah,
turns.
like everything's great about it. Is like the mechanics are good, the theming's good. It's kind of like steampunk Russia kind of thing. Uh, it's
Nice.
like, but I've played hundreds and hundreds of games of that too. It's a great experience each time.
That is awesome. Yeah, I love those games where you pick it up every time you get excited to play, and then you're not bored either. It's like one of
Oh
those
yeah,
like,
every game's completely different.
yeah, exactly. And that's what I think
That's a
I
huge thing for me too, is replayability. Like
yeah,
I have a lot of games that we own that we've only played once and probably will never go back to, but it's the ones that, like Catan or Scythe, where you played hundreds and hundreds of games, you'll keep going back to them.
right, exactly. And that's just the thing is it's like, and that's what I think I love about Magic too, is that you can have the same deck and play it against the same exact deck, and you have totally different outcomes based on mechanics. And it's just so crazy to think that that's possible every single time. And I get
And
it.
even more to that point for commanders, like you'll get that all the time too. It's like with a lot of the more competitive like 60 card formats, you're down to matchups most of the time, but with commander you're going to have something new every time to play it. That's why I like about it.
Exactly. It's just such a fun way to play the game. Now, um, kind of going back to that, like, would you say that, because Commander can drag on for a little while. Like, it's not like a quick format, It can be,
It
depending.
can be, but it's not really meant to be. It's meant to be sit down, have a fun game, drink some beer, play Magic with your friends.
Exactly. Do you
It's
prefer
the break from competitive.
Yeah, exactly. Do you prefer that like longer format for all kind of gaming styles, or it depends on like your mood? Like, okay, I just want a quick game. Let's just play, a quick little.
Yeah, like for example, a lot of our board game days, we'll sit down with something like to start, then play like a super heavy 2 to 3 hour game, get lunch, come back, play something light, and then play a bunch of mediums till the end of the night and play something really short at the end.
That's cool. So that's like a perfect day. It's like, you've got food, friends, you're entertaining yourself. It's usually fairly inexpensive, It's always something that's nice. So, do you guys like rotate who buys a game, or do you each?
Oh yeah, we all well, we have one of us who has probably 50 per he probably has a lot more games than the rest of us. He's more like gets, like one of the top games of each of the years as they come out. And
Okay.
then the rest of us tend to buy the ones that really interest us. Like
Okay.
I personally probably have about I want to say like 50 to 60 games out of that, but he's close to like 300 out of our 500. Like,
Crazy. But that's so fun. Like I love that. Like I wish that like our friends introduced us to a few games. I forget. Oh, what am I? I'm drawing a blank on like one of. It's whatever. I'll find it and I'll post it up over here. But it's like one of those games where you have like a huge collection of like cards and you read the cards and then you have
sorry,
like.
what was the game name again?
Okay, the game is Monikers, which obviously. Have you ever played this?
I have not.
Oh my god. Okay, so I can't believe you haven't played this. It is a new game that you're gonna have to try out. Monikers. It's a really fun. Essentially, what you do is like, it's almost like a Cards Against Humanity type setup.
Oh, okay. That's probably why I haven't played it.
Gotcha. But like, well,
I,
and you,
I used to have Cards Against Humanity. I played it a few times, and basically it's a drinking game, and that's not really my style. But
yeah, this isn't really a drinking game. This is more like for fun and like it's really like witty. So like a Magic Eye poster would get you 2 points. There's ones in here that are like 3 points, like Unami, right? So it's like kind of like a and you have to guess the word. I can't really like I'm doing a really awful job describing it.
oh, it's like Taboo. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like Taboo meets like so it's like but it's fun for like groups and like kind
Oh,
of
I
just
could get that one easy. Sixth Taste.
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
See,
So
I played. We have Catchphrase, which is
oh
very
yeah,
much like Taboo.
yeah, yeah.
I'm a grandmaster at Catchphrase. So
Nice. Yeah, I mean it's a fun game for like casual, like just really off like the like you're not trying to get anything too like deep, but it's like it's good for like a big group kind of situation type of Monikers. Super fun game. Anyway, I want to circle back around to Magic and just kind of wrap things up real quick because I know your time is valuable and we've obviously discarded
that's good.
with tech issues. so, so Magic, they announced a whole bunch of stuff. Obviously, two things I want to touch on real quick with you is what do you think of the secret layer drops?
So when I saw them, I was not very happy about them. It's something Wizards has said they were never going to do, which is get into selling their cards directly or selling singles. I've actually avoided them as much as possible until so I was a judge for a while, and the year that the Phyrexian language Elishnorn came out, I was nominated for every exemplar that year except for the damn Elishnorn. So I've wanted one for a long ass time, and I saw that they were doing the Phyrexian secret layer, so I ordered that one.
That's awesome.
And I actually just got the shipping notice today.
I think it's just started hitting. I think a lot of people have finally started getting them, and they are beautiful. Have you seen them yet at all? Like in
I
person?
haven't seen like the actual cards
Uh,
because I know that they're kind of back and forth on printing quality on some of them, so I'm waiting to see what it looks like.
yeah, well, they redid the packaging, so the packaging to me is a little sleeker. It's a lot nicer, but they've used like a heavier glue, so just be careful when you are unpacking those because the glue itself is gonna either stick mightily to the box or they used a different glue that you can just peel right off. So it's like one of
Okay.
the so but yeah, it's beautiful. Like the art is super gorgeous. I had the chance to see one from a friend in person and I was like, "Oh, this is sweet." It looked like a
Yeah,
belt.
like I've been needing that for my baby for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it is
I
a
have the one deck that I put foils and special cards in, and that's the one I needed an Elishnorn.
that is it. That's awesome. I love it. Okay, so kind of like on Secret Layer then, huh?
It I just haven't seen any that really grabbed me except for that one so far, and I really don't like the whole marketing behind it in general. But I think some people like it, so to each
Yeah.
their own.
I mean, when it first came out, I think my initial visceral reaction was much like yours. I was like, "Oh, like this,
Oh, we don't care about the secondary market.
yeah, like it was just kind of like, oh man, like that's not gonna last. And then it's like gone on forever. And they've done an okay job with it, I gotta say, just from like at least trying to make it viable. I mean, I think what's nice is that they do put that secret card in there. So at least it makes it halfway decent. But in terms of value, they've doubled. Every single one is basically
I
doubled.
mean, I also really don't like mechanically unique cards in a limited set, especially for Commander too. It's like, oh
Yeah,
look, I didn't get the secret lair. Now I can't get this card.
right. Exactly. That's kind of frustrating. But sometimes like I like the charity things, they're really cool. I love the kid one that just came out. Like that was adorable. Like especially since I have kids, it's like, okay, like I get that like connection and like it was
Some of the
charity.
art is really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, but like overall I've been like, like like I could take it or leave it, really. Most mainly leave it. Okay, and then the second question that I had for you was they released a whole bunch of the upcoming sets for 2022.
Yeah, I did see that.
And what do you think of? Well, what are you most excited about, if any? And yeah, do you have predictions or anything that you want
Oh,
to?
Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I figured you might say that, and I was like, dude, that's the one I'm so excited about.
Like I was a huge lore fan in Magic, and Kamigawa kind of got dead dirty the first time around, so I'm really looking forward to seeing the whole next run through it. I'm also getting a lot of, I don't know if you're a fantasy book fan, but I'm getting a lot of like Mistborn vibes from what I've seen of it, so I really like that.
That is awesome. Yeah, I do get that too. And like, as much as I'm excited for like Double Masters and the Brothers War, I Kamigawa in Q1 too.
That's my second big thing too, the Brothers War, because I like the original four books, the Thran, the Brothers War, the uh, Planeswalker Time Streams, Bloodlines were some of my favorites for all the lore, and I really love that, like the whole beginning of the Magic story
Yeah,
with back when the Planeswalkers were gods.
yeah. Exactly.
That's another thing I've really liked they've been doing recently is giving all the older Planeswalkers actual cards.
Right. Which is really nice to see. I mean, I think War Spark to me kind of like killed a little bit of the Planeswalker vibe just because it was like every packet's a Planeswalker and it's
Yeah,
like,
that's the thing. Like they kind of overdo sometimes. That's my other big thing with the secret layers is kind of like product overload every year.
right. Like, and I think like they had, and it might have happened when they sold it to Hasbro, but like the whole like, let's capitalize on the marketing side instead of
That's
like,
exactly what happened.
yeah, like, let's focus on gameplay. And I think these couple sets that have come out this year and early or late last year, I think a lot of them they're gonna grow on people, but I do think they were a little bit like I don't know if they felt rushed to me or if it was just like too like let's capitalize on Innistrad and it's like let's do a double release and everything can be double this and double that. It's like it just felt so marketing heavy versus like gameplay heavy where it's like let's focus on like really great cards and have cards that really can booster the community at large for commander and standard and I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, like the last standard I really enjoyed was like Cons of Tarkir.
That's kicking it. Yeah, that's definitely yeah, I think I don't know. And I'm excited for the upcoming. And I think bookending Q1 with Q4 for those two sets that we're both excited for is going to be really nice to see. So,
Yeah, and the Nether Commander Legends. Like Commander Legends was an absolute home run for me too. I absolutely love that. I bought a
it,
ton of it.
I was going to say, well, especially since you play tons of Commander, it's definitely a great series. I actually just did an opening. I don't think it's going to be released by the time that this comes out because I try to do these on Saturdays and I have some content that's already scattered. Um, but I'll spoil it for you. I pulled a Jeweled Lotus on my very first pack.
Mm.
I was like, I can't. Like, I just got to, like, what do I do with the rest of
Yeah,
this?
so I went through about a case of Commander Legends, and I didn't get a Lotus. And I bought a random pack at Walmart and got one. So it's fabulous.
Oh, that's insane. Sometimes it's those like one-offs, man. Those are always the fun ones. So
Yeah, that's my other thing with the whole product thing. Like, I used to just like get one of every Commander deck when it came out, and for the longest time, like, it just hadn't been grabbing me. But Commander Legends was definitely a home run.
yeah, I love that set too. It was a great series for them, and I think you can see that with the value of how it's grown now with the cards inside the set. So, all right, well, I don't want to take any more of your time because I know it's been precious. I greatly appreciate you hopping on for about the half hour here that we've been able to chat. So, do you have anything else in conclusion or wrapping up that you wanted to just mention? Say anything in general? Not
No, it's been fun. Had a good time.
awesome.
I
I really
definitely
appreciate.
look into some of those games though. Board Game Geek's a great resource.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'm going to be posting photos and links and stuff like down below for some of those things if you guys want to check those out for sure. But Nate, thanks so much, my friend, for hopping on the channel, and we will see you guys sometime soon here. Okay.
Thank you for coming to our show, and good night.